Eccoci qua! Sono veramente contento che siate qui con me oggi. Anche oggi, mattina, pomeriggio, sera, notte. Dai, facciamo partire i secondi. Mi stai guardando? Ma mi stai ascoltando? Devi seguirmi. Ti vedo, eh? Adesso li faccio ripartire quando sei più attento. Metti giù il telefono e guarda tranquillamente questa chiacchierata. Secondo me ti diverti. Viviamo il presente. E nel caso non dovessimo più vederci, buon pomeriggio, buonasera e buonanotte. Eccoci qua. Good afternoon, Steve.
Good afternoon, Lucio. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Here
Very
in
good.
Italy, so hot, but I think
Good. Very hot.
also in Ontario.
Yes, it's not too bad here right now, but I heard it's awful hot in Italy right now, up to 45 in some places. I heard.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think here I have water in all the body.
I believe it. I believe
I
it.
drink 1 cup of water and go out 1 cup of water.
Yeah, it goes as fast as you drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what day is today, Steve? Which
Today?
day is today? Yeah.
What's that?
Which day is today?
Thursday for us.
Wednesday?
Oh, Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday, 13 of July,
Yes.
2023, here in Italy, 6:04 p.m. And from you?
For us, it's 12:04 p.m.
Okay. And this is the interview number 924 from the begin and the 194 of 2023.
Oh, very good.
And Barb, say hello from Edmonton, Alberta. I love your photography.
Thank you, Barb.
I think all people love your photography because how and where we meet, I tell you, I see that I don't know where, but I see your photography where you win. Explain me, where do you win with the photography of I'm sorry for the English, I tell you.
That's okay. Are you asking about the eagle?
The eagle, yeah, this one.
Yes. So I was very fortunate with Bruce the eagle. His name is Bruce. I was up at the Canadian Raptor Conservancy a few years back, and I had been there before, and I knew the type of shot I wanted to take. So I stayed very low to the ground, and Bruce was coming across the water and flying as you saw from the image. I managed to get a great shot of him. It was very symmetrical, reflecting in the water, and he was flying very close over my head. He wasn't fond of me being so close to the edge of the water, but it was quite an experience, and I got the shot of a lifetime, the image of a lifetime. And I was very fortunate for it to go viral worldwide. I was interviewed by many sources all over the world. Here in Canada, the major news stations interviewed me about it, as well as BBC, and they sent it out worldwide. I actually have Italian newspapers that did stories on it. I have them up on my fridge. So I was
think
very, very fortunate.
I think I listen on the TV news of this photo. It was the most reflection, the most make correct, no, like a reflection in the world. So,
Thank you.
and I tell I must know him, and I go on the social, I write you, and you answer quickly, and I thank you for this.
You're welcome. I'm sorry it took so long to finally do the interview, but we were able to put it together, which is nice.
No, I'm afraid for my English because in this period I make so many interview in Spanish, so my brain is on the Spanish vocabulary.
That's okay. You're doing just fine. Your English is excellent. It's better than my Italian, that's for sure.
And say hello to you, Maria from Sicily.
Hi, Maria.
And when you begin or began to make photography, and it was with nature from the beginning.
So yeah, I started in photography. I started getting a little serious about 2009, 2008. And originally, when I got into photography, I just wanted to capture the landscapes. I used to do a lot of hiking in California. It's one of my favorite places to hike. And I just wanted to capture all the beautiful scenery, the mountains there, Mount Whitney, Half Dome. They're just amazing places. And so originally I did landscape and city photography. I love to do sunsets, sunrises. I was out almost every morning once I started to really get some positive feedback from people on social media. And then I started doing more and more nature photography because I love being in nature. I love being in the forest, in the mountains. I feel at peace there. I can be alone with my thoughts. And I just gravitated towards more wildlife photography, and I really enjoy it. And I'm so happy to be able to capture wildlife and landscapes from my travels and from all over the world. And I love sharing them with people. One of the greatest compliments that I can get is when people say to me, I could never see this, Steve, and I'm happy that you share it with us because it's the only way that we get to see it, and that makes me feel good when I can share the beauty of this world.
We started to see the photo, and I want to ask you, when you go out to make photography, how long do you stay out from house?
So I work full time for Ford Motor Company here in Windsor, but I do make a lot of time for photography as well. Quite often, I will go out even if I'm working. Let's say I'm working in the afternoon. Quite often, I'll go out in the morning. Sometimes I'm out anywhere from an hour to 5 or 6. I don't mind spending time in nature. I have all the patience in the world for nature and animals and birds. If I have to wait for something to happen or to get the image that I want, I don't mind waiting. It's well worth it for me.
You explain, and I ask you.
Yeah. Okay. This image here, this was taken while I was on a cruise in Alaska. This is one of my favorite images from the cruise. This was just before sunrise, probably about, I believe, 4 or so in the morning. Sunrise and sunset was very late and sunrise was very early. So if you wanted to catch them, you didn't get too much sleep. So there wasn't a lot of sleep on the cruise. The cruise was with the Hurtigruten along the inside coast of Alaska, and it was quite beautiful. So this was, like I said, this was very early in the morning, just as the sun is coming across the mountains. I just love the light, the glow, the natural golden glow of this image. And I have several more following with the sun as it's coming up over the mountains. But this was my favorite of the group of images. I really love this.
I think how many situations do you see when you make shooting, and how many situations do you lose? Because I think you are like kidnapped with the situation. You understand the question?
I think so. I think you're asking me how dedicated I am to capturing. Is that right?
When you go out, you see many situations.
Yes.
So I think it was also a beautiful situation.
Yes.
And the finger don't shoot, and you stay this to see this situation.
So yeah, so I know what you mean. Sometimes there are moments where I just enjoy it, and I don't, I can take a few moments to enjoy, let's say, a sunrise or a sunset. I can just take it in, and then I can take my pictures as well. I usually get what I want. When it comes to wildlife photography, I enjoy seeing it through the camera and capturing it as best I can. And I don't mind seeing the world unfold through my camera as well. I enjoy it just as much as sometimes just sitting there and not taking pictures.
Because also I think all the time you go out to make shooting, you are tense, but because I think you tell to you that you have got one shooting more or less, and
Yeah.
you can't lose it. So also, but I think you go out also to come back happy and with a work.
Yes. So there are times where you have a little bit of disappointment because you want to always try and capture something fantastic, right? But with photography, that's not the way it is. You're not always going to capture something fantastic. So sometimes you just have to appreciate you saw something fantastic and you'll try and capture it next time. It's important to be patient with wildlife. Wildlife is unpredictable. And if you just go out on a regular basis, that's one of my people always ask me, what do you recommend? The biggest thing I can recommend with photography is to get out as much as you can. If you get out a lot, you will capture beautiful images. That's the bottom line. You may not capture beautiful images every single time, and I don't. But if I'm in nature, I don't mind. If I have days where I don't get anything great, I'm okay with that. I enjoy the nature. It's wonderful. Yeah. This is one of my favorite days on the Alaska trip. This was an excursion where we went out looking for sea otters and whales. We saw several whales. They were a little far. We didn't get the best. I didn't get the greatest images of whales, but I got some beautiful images of this wonderful sea otter. We the the boat just slowed down to a nice cruising pace, and we stayed beside the sea otter for what seemed like 5 or more minutes, and it just swam and danced and turned around in the water, and they seemed so playful. And this was one of the more wonderful moments of the trip. And there were some wonderful people on the boat as well. So it was a great experience to enjoy together. It was really wonderful.
I think when you go out to make this shooting, the time don't exist.
No, no, it could have been 20 minutes. I don't know. You're right. I don't really pay attention to the time. It's very easy for me to lose track of time. Sometimes I'll be out for a few hours and I won't even know until I check the time and I think, oh, maybe it's time to go to work or something. I don't, yeah.
And Gloria Bortolin night shoot and
Hi, Gloria.
Loki Biro.
Hi, Loki. Same last name. Very nice.
Yeah. And when are you always satisfied with your photo, or you would like to improve?
I'm satisfied with my. I shouldn't say you're always trying to improve. You always try and find some way to learn, to get better. And with photography, you always want to try and find something unique. You really want to. You really want to capture something that other people haven't. You know, something that's not seen every day. And I think for me, that challenge is always there, and I'm always trying to, and like I said, and I'm always trying to learn. There's always something to learn. You never can know it all with photography. As much as I've done it, as much as I've studied it, watched videos, yeah, there's always something to learn. It's the wonderful thing about photography is you can keep getting better and better, I think.
I buy a lot of magazine or newspaper to make research or read or look other situation, because I think the photographer must do research.
Yes.
Is correct in English.
Yeah. Yes, that's very important. You know, you should learn things. You know, you can play around a lot on your own, but sometimes it's very good to, like you said, do some research, either through magazines or YouTube. There's tips and tricks there that even help me improve myself and my photography. There, you know, like through camera settings, you know, like when you read a magazine, it'll give you the camera settings for a certain situation. It'll talk about, you know, there's a lot of also accessories you can use with your camera. You know, so many different lenses, but there's different filters and stuff you can use. So there's always something to learn, and definitely magazines and online are great places to to do some research and improve your photography. This is this was a popular image. So I knew the moon was. I use apps, so so this is something I'll talk to a little bit about. So there's some good apps out there. I use X8 Golden Hour to find out where the moon and the sun set and rise on a daily basis. I make it a point to, if I have time to get out, if I'm not working, I make it a point to know where the moon is rising, and I'll try and find a cool spot to get the moon in front of something, or let's say a farm building or what have you. So on this day, I went out to the country. I was hoping to get kind of a farm scene with the moon, but I wasn't finding anything like that. So I saw these cool trees in front of the moon, and I decided I would snap them, and it turned out quite nice. I'm really happy with this image, and people really seem to enjoy it.
On Tuesday, I was to see WordPress photo winner of 2022
Okay.
with the book of 2023, and
Uh-huh.
I think is more difficult to make one shooting only that because a work from a long time is more simple because you create a situation or go inside or in a location and study and research and make all the photo. I think the one shooting also you and the photographer must lucky to be in this situation, in this
Oh,
location, in this moment.
so you're saying it takes a little bit of luck, right? Yes.
Yeah,
So you should increase your chances of luck by getting out there and trying to plan your shot. So, like you said, sometimes you do get a little bit of luck. For example, only maybe twice. I shoot the moon a lot. I love photographing the moon, and only twice I have photographed a plane in front of the moon. It's very difficult to
yeah.
capture, and
See,
that is luck, right? So there, but it's important to be out there, because if you're not out there, you'll never get the image. But yes, you have to. You do. It is nice to get a little bit of luck. It's always fortunate. Same thing when you're on a trip like the Alaska trip. If you're not out taking pictures when whales are jumping out of the water, you won't get them. But you're right. The whales still have to be jumping. It's a little bit of luck, right? So yeah.
also because I think that a photographer like I think how it will be a photographer. I don't like the graphic situation and change the photography with graphic or artificial intelligence. I don't like this because for me, a shooting it was looked by one eye and one brain
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
because the plane on the moon, sometimes people can think that take the plane and
Yeah.
put on the moon.
Yes, and you can do that. That is not something I do. And there's the odd time that I've played around with Photoshop trying to create composite images. I'm not very good at it. It takes a lot of time, and I would rather capture what I see. And if I do ever, like I said, I have played around a little bit. When I do play around, I let people know that I have. I'll say, "Oh, what do you think of this? I put the plane on the moon or whatever." But if all my images that I post, unless I say otherwise, it's what the eye saw. Yeah,
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 and this is when the photographer is serious.
yeah, yes. I am a very serious photographer.
I think everything that if I don't see this situation, I can't change the final image.
uh,
I want to wait another situation with the situation I think.
yes, absolutely. Sure, Barb. That's fine. Thank you. Um, and yes, so all my images do get edited. but I don't change anything drastically in an image. I like to present it the best way that I can, the way I experienced it and saw it. And mostly what I do, I like to balance the lights and the darks just so you can see more of the image. Sometimes, the shadows are a little dark, so I bring them up just so you can see closer to what the eye sees. That's important with editing, is it's really nice to the camera can't see the way the human eye can. But I'll explain it a little bit. So when you take a picture, let's say you take a picture and there's like kind of a bright sky, a lot of times the landscape looks dark. So what you would do I use Lightroom for my editing. So what I would do in Lightroom, I would bring the lights down so the sky gets a little darker, and I bring the shadows up so you can see the landscape better. Always sharpen it up a little bit. And I don't saturate the colors. I don't like to do that. I usually increase the vibrance a little bit. With birds, with wildlife, I only touch the vibrance a touch, 10%. And with landscapes, sometimes 25 or 30%. I just bring up the vibrance so it's closer to what, like I said, what I remembered seeing.
I'm so bad because I don't have a Lightroom or Photoshop.
That's okay.
So basic because if I can't make this photo,
Yeah.
I think I can't do it. So I don't
Yes.
I don't try more than one time. But thank you very much. I will make sure to give recognition to you and send you what I have painted.
Thank you, Bart. So this is a lighthouse in Lake Michigan on the west coast of Michigan. For years, I had wanted to go because I know these icy scenes are just spectacular. They're wonderful. And finally, this year in December, I heard there was good ice on the lighthouses, and I went out there to snap some of these wonderful scenes. I stopped at 3 lighthouses while I was in Western Michigan. This is the Grand Haven Lighthouse, and it's really spectacular. Highly recommend heading out to see it in the winter if you ever get a chance. It's quite, as you can see, it's quite beautiful, quite unique, and this is one of those times where I took many shots to get a nice splash up against the lighthouse itself. So yeah.
And when you make shooting with the bird, I think yes, you make more photo or one shot.
Oh, I take a lot of pictures. Yes. So if I go out to, even if I just go, I have a local park here that's has a lot of wonderful birds. We have a lot of blue herons, green herons, kingbirds, and songbirds. And I shoot the green herons and blue herons quite often. It is not uncommon for me to take between 2,000 and 6,000 images if I'm out all morning. And then I have to sort through them, pick out the best ones, and then the rest. I don't get rid of them. I really don't delete my images for the most part. So they get saved on an external drive, and then all my keepers get saved separately. So.
Arlene Vendrasco. I remember seeing this photo so beautiful.
Thank you, Arlene. Thank you. So this is another scene that I had wanted to see for a long time, similar to the lighthouses. This was a couple months earlier. I know the butterflies, they migrate through a place called Point Pelee here in Canada, here in Ontario. It's about an hour's drive for me. And I have missed them every year for a decade. I've never been able to get out. I always read about them, and people say, "Oh, the butterflies were there. It was amazing." And I've never had a chance to go out and get large groups of the monarch butterflies. So this fall, I was really paying attention a lot. To make sure that I didn't, or try to make sure that I didn't miss them. I mean, there's never guarantees with wildlife, like I say, because there were many times in years before where I went out to go try and photograph them and I didn't get anything. So, or just, one or two monarchs, which are always pretty as well. But like you said, sometimes you go out and you get fortunate. So the wind has to be just right. So the butterflies stop in Point Pelee and they wait for the wind so they can go across the lake into Ohio in the United States, and they migrate south. But they need the wind to bring them across the lake because it's quite vast. So I was very thrilled to be able to capture them. I captured video as well as many photos. I took thousands of photos of those butterflies as well. Yeah.
The most dangerous work you do?
The most dangerous?
Yeah.
Um, uh, uh, there are times where I have really skirted the edge of uh, sanity. I have gone out on the ice before, perhaps when I shouldn't. I am quite careful, but there's been a couple times where I've been on the ice and I hear it start to crack, and I get off the ice pretty quick when that happens. But like I said, I'm usually very careful. In the mountains, I have no fear. I do get a little closer to the edge than maybe I should, but I don't go dangerously close. I don't want to fall off a mountain, that's for sure. But I really I enjoy taking some risk. I don't mind. But like I said, the ice is among the riskier. Usually, if I do go out on ice, I make sure the water is not very deep underneath. I have my foot has gone through up to my knee. I do have I can probably one of the most dangerous situations. Actually, I do have a story from Iceland. So in Iceland, when you're there, there's normal waves. You have a lot of beaches in Italy, I'm sure, and you know how the surf normally comes up on the beach. In Iceland, the surf has a normal range, but then all of a sudden you can get a wave that can literally come in an extra 100 meters from where it was breaking. So I was setting up an image on Diamond Beach in Iceland of some beautiful blue ice on the black sand beach. It's a spectacular place. It's just wondrous.
It
And
is near Vic.
yes, it's past Vic, but it's east of Vic.
Yeah.
But yes, and it's
I
near.
stay there.
Very nice, very nice. So the beaches there are beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So I was kneeling down, setting up my image. I had one camera around my neck and one camera on a tripod, and I thought I was safe. I was probably 25 meters from the water, and out of my left eye, I saw people running. And then in my head, I was like, oh crap. And I looked to my right, and there's water higher than my head coming towards me. So I grabbed my camera gear, I jumped up as fast as I could, and I started running. It came up to my hips. It was very cold. Yes. And it came up to my hips. And when the water's going back out, it's trying to pull you in. It's very strong, right? So if I would not have seen those people running, that wave would have probably swamped right over my head, and all my gear would have been destroyed, and I may have been sucked out to sea. I don't know. I like to think I would have made it out, but that was one of the more dangerous situations I've been in my life for photography. So this is a puffin, and this was also in Iceland. This was in Iceland last summer. We were going on a trip. We went on a Greenland cruise, and prior to the Greenland cruise, I had a few days to spend in Iceland. And I love Iceland. I've been to Iceland 5 times, and I probably will plan a group trip next year for either spring or fall. I'll let people know. But I'd like to bring a small group again. But this puffin was on the Westman Islands in Iceland. The Westman Islands in the summer are home to the largest puffin colony. There's up to 1.1 million puffins on the Westman Islands at any given time. So you just kind of set up in the area where they're nesting and shoot away, and they fly much faster than you think. Not always easy to get good shots, but that was one of my favorite shots. That was I did win. I won Nature Photo Image of the Year for our local group of camera clubs with that image.
I stayed there only one time in 2001. And I don't want to come back in Italy.
See, yeah, it's beautiful, eh? It's wonderful.
Yeah, I love Iceland.
Yes, people are nice. It's spectacular. I love Iceland. We shouldn't tell everybody because they'll all go, but no, yeah, I love Iceland. I highly recommend it. It's truly a wondrous place. But I did love Italy too. So I wanted to include this picture because this is local. So this is our riverfront. That's the Detroit River. So that's about a 10-minute drive for me. And I used to go down to the riverfront when I was shooting mainly landscapes and cityscapes. I used to go down to the riverfront literally probably 200 times a year for sunrise or sunset, hoping to get images like this. This was taken somewhat recently. I think I took this last summer. And this is a longer exposure. You can see the water is a little softer in the foreground of the image. And to create that, I took a nice long exposure to give it this misty look. The water was a little choppy. And if you take a long exposure, it'll smooth the water out a little, and you can get that that nice misty look. I used a neutral density filter for this as well, because the image is so bright, you can't take a long exposure unless you put a dark filter on the front of the camera. So using a dark filter, I was able to slow my shutter speed down so that I could take this image and, like I said, get this nice misty look in the rocks and get the sunset as well, the beautiful clouds in the sky.
What is the name of the eagle?
The eagle? Bruce.
Bruce.
Bruce, yes. Yeah. Yes, so here's Bruce.
I think this photo have been seen from all the world.
Yes, it has. Like I said, I was very fortunate to capture this image. This is, as we discussed, I had an image in mind, what I wanted to capture, which is why I was so low to the water, as you can see here. But still, to get him perfectly like this, still a little bit of luck involved. And I count my blessings that I was able to capture this image and that people seem to enjoy it worldwide. You know, I used to think of eagles as more an American thing, but everybody in the world just seemed to love this image. And like I said, I feel very fortunate to have captured it. And I had people from Asia, Europe, everywhere, messaging me, friending me, and you know, it really brought a lot of attention to my photography, and I still try and capture the best that I can to bring it to people every day, because they do follow me. I want to try and give them something nice to look at as much as possible.
The most dangerous in Iceland, and the photo where you was scared
Yes.
when your brain told you, no, I must stay there, I must stay there, but you was scared.
In Iceland?
No, in
Oh,
all photo.
uh,
The situation where you was scared more, but
uh,
you want to stay to have the photo.
um, that one is tough. There's probably a few situations. Sometimes, okay, so if a storm is coming in, I like to capture lightning. So sometimes I probably push my luck on how long I stay out in the storm. Um, uh, there was one time a huge, um, dangerous cloud was turning over my head, and it was just terrifying looking. But I took my pictures, and then I ran to my car. And by the time I got to my car, just as I got to the car, it just exploded rain. And that cloud actually produced a tornado a few moments later. So I did not catch the tornado, unfortunately, but it produced a tornado as it went a little bit further away. So, but I do I do like to push my luck sometimes. Yeah. The sweet foxes. This was taken a few years ago. This was local, probably about 40 minutes drive from my place. This was actually taken at a cemetery where they had where the mother had her kits, as they're called. You can call them pups too, but the proper name for the baby foxes are kits, and they're wonderful to watch. They're so playful. This was the one of the this experience with these foxes was one of the best experiences in nature of my life. Um, I just sat there taking their pictures. At other times, this time there was a little bit of rain. I don't think I was there that long. But as I sat there, the foxes were very curious about me. They're walking around me. They would come up close to my camera. They were very curious, very playful. And that was still to this day one of the most wonderful experiences I've ever had, was photographing those foxes. It was just amazing.
How is difficult to respect the life to the animal and the world where they live?
Yeah. So you shouldn't disturb them. You should, um, if you should get as close as they're comfortable with. Sometimes you approach a bird and it flies away. It's probably not a good idea to keep chasing after it. Like you said, you should kind of respect its boundaries a little bit. Sometimes birds, like we have herons here, you can get within 10 meters of them without bothering them. They don't mind because there's people all around. Like in areas where there's normally people, like Stanley Park in Vancouver, for instance, we have a certain type of duck here. We have a wood duck here that you can't get close to here, but at Stanley Park in Vancouver, because there's people all around. If you, so I find with wildlife, if you just sit there, a lot of times things will happen around you. you know, and I think that's a really important and great way to experience nature, is to sometimes let it happen rather than chasing after it. Like I said, with the foxes, I just sat down in the grass and they came out and played. I didn't make any sudden movements, and I respected their space, and they were curious, like I said, and came walking towards me, and it was really spectacular. So that's really a nice way to experience nature, is to kind of just wait for it to happen, and it will. If you're in the right place, it will happen. Yeah. Uh, and of course, you always give bears like this space. This is a polar bear. Um, this was taken up in Churchill, Manitoba, which is quite far north. They thrive on the ice that forms in the north. That's where they do much of their hunting of the seals and what have you. Um, these You really have to make sure you respect the space of these creatures. We were stopped at the side of the road, and we were on the other side of the vehicle as we photographed this beautiful creature. Um, and if it had made any sudden moves, everyone was prepared to get back in the car, because they can move very fast. They move way faster than you think for a large creature. Um, and Again, like you said, you have to respect nature, give it its space when needed. Like we were just watching this beautiful bear just eat, and fatten itself up and get ready for the winter. It was quite something.
I think I have 2,000 questions to ask you, but I have the brain.
Okay. Yeah.
Is more simple make a normal photo or waiting a good situation, a strange situation, and for the market, for the magazine, for the what the world want, I think is different that what do you want. But I think also you are the photographer and you choose what kind of photo make.
Yes. I take pictures that I love and enjoy. That's the bottom line. I don't do commercial photography really. Um, I would, like I said, I have a regular job. Uh, there are, I don't photograph weddings. I don't photograph much. Like I said, most of my photography is done for what I enjoy, what I want to capture, because I love nature so much. And if people decide they want to put my photography on their wall, that's really flattering to me. It's amazing that somebody might want to put my images in their home. Like I said, it's humbling to me. I really. Um, uh, it's always, I'm trying to think of the right words to say. Um, um, I don't take my photography for people to hang up on the wall. I take it for myself. But if they want to hang it on the wall, that's amazing to me. It's like I said, I'm very humbled by it.
This is in Mexico,
This is in Costa Rica.
near
Yeah,
Quetzal.
yeah, very close. So this is a resplendent quetzal.
Quetzal.
Uh, and this is the male. They're spectacular birds. Also, these are very difficult to. Um, they're only kind of out once in a while, and you don't just find them all the time. They're in the these birds are in the mountains of Costa Rica at a certain elevation they like. and they eat small avocados. They're these tiny avocados. They eat the whole avocado and they spit the pit out. They're just these little tiny avocados. It's kind of strange to see, but you can see how spectacular their plumage is. And we all stayed back. I was with a group of photographers. We all stayed back, safe distance, and the birds just um, did their thing, and that was really wonderful to experience as well. Also in Costa Rica, um, uh, this is a green-breasted mango hummingbird. I think that's right. So with hummingbirds, you can see how I was able to stop the action in the wings. You know, they flap very fast. This was taken at, I think, 1/3200th of a second. You have to shoot them extremely fast. In Costa Rica, they have lots of beautiful gardens, and the hummingbirds are everywhere. They love these gardens, and so uh, I guess a tip. What I try and do is it's nice to catch them on the flower at times, but I like to catch them away from the flower. Like I said, isolated like this. Um, so what I'll do is sometimes I'll they have a tendency to go towards a flower and then back, and they have a certain motion. So I'll try and focus on them in their back motion, and I'm able to get good captures like this one.
To make this photo, I think 1,000 shootings.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I think
several-
yeah,
yeah.
because it's so difficult stop the colibri.
Yes. Like I said, this was shot very quick. And on that day, I took I think 6,500 images on that day. Yes, and I have a few hundred that were good, and the rest are okay, but only a few hundred I would keep out of the 6,000 that I took. This is
The cat call you.
yes, it's okay, baby. Yeah, she wants some attention. This is a bull moose taken at Algonquin Park here in Ontario. I go to Algonquin Park quite often. I used to go every fall for several years in a row, and finally, a couple years back, I was able to get some really beautiful bull moose pictures. I had not gotten any before, and this was quite an experience. This was probably also one of those times where I was pushing my luck a little bit. I was pretty close to the moose, and I kept taking pictures. The moose did make a sudden movement at one time, and there were other people there taking pictures as well. And I was probably the closest one. But as soon as he moved quickly, everybody backed up quickly. The moose is a dangerous creature. You know, they're quite docile for the most part, but they can move much faster than a human can, and they can do a lot of damage with those antlers. But they're spectacular. That was one of those experiences where even though I'm photographing that moose, I'm just thrilled to be in that moment, experiencing that nature. And like I said, I was I was closer to him than I should have been. I was still not very close. He was probably 50 meters away still. But they can cover 50 meters very quickly. They run fast. Yeah.
So, Steve, last question. I think 5 or 6 questions, but if you are tired, you tell me.
I'm okay. No worries. Yeah.
So I put the link of a project I'm doing in Sicily to stop people for 1 week a year to
Mhm.
stay with the nature near the sea and to relax the people.
Ah,
So
okay.
I will send you the link so you can see it when you want.
Sure. I
And
will check
I give you 1 minute to tell the first thing you have on your brain and you want to give to the other people.
Um, I would say if with photography and even with nature, I think it's really important to take a look around at the world um, like you're a child again. If you can experience the world like a child, as a photographer, it will make you a better photographer. And even if you're not a photographer, you will just enjoy it so much more. You know, take a look under a rock. Uh, you know, try and just experience the trees and nature. And
I don't listen you. Non sento. I don't listen you. No. Go out and come back.
is that better?
Yeah. Now,
Sorry
yeah.
about that. I don't know what happened. It muted on its own. Okay. So you want me to answer the question again?
I give you. You tell that the photographer. But I understand
Yeah.
all the answer. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, project that you have from tomorrow to next 6 months.
Um, nothing strong planned. I'm going to do some more traveling, perhaps to Western Canada, and maybe to Europe again. There's, of course, lots of stuff I'd like to see. Um, I think I think I'd like to find a place to go where I can photograph eagles more. And locally, I want to. We have lots of large birds like eagles, raptors, osprey here. So we have young osprey out. So I'm hoping to capture some osprey in the next month. Um, Learning how to fish, which is really quite spectacular to capture. So yeah, those are like my only plans right now. So everything else is kind of loose up in the air. Yeah.
And now you can make me a question.
Oh, okay. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to think. How long have you been doing photography?
This year, 33 years,
Wonderful.
but
Did oh,
I nobody know me. I
yeah.
have I have a lot of photography. I think 500,000 photography,
Wow. Wonderful.
and only I must choose what they represent me.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, that's excellent.
But
Very good.
I make photo to normal life situation, a
Yeah.
crazy situation, and only nice. And when we see a photo of war or the other things, I don't want to explain a problem with a photo, a bad photo,
Yes.
but I want to give to the other positive emotion
Yes.
with a good photo that represent the same things, but in the other side of the medal, no?
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Yes. Yes. It's good to create positivity, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
And if you want to change one thing in the world now, what you want to change?
Oof. Um, I would love, like I said, I think if people went back to just enjoying life like a child, I think we would get along better. You know, I think so many adults are so caught up in their their minds and their mindsets. And there's a lot of anger out there. I guess basically people should just love more. I think if people just learn to love, we could really fix a lot in this world. You know, people unfortunately have deep rooted dislikes and for very frivolous reasons. And I think if we just learn to love people and accept them for who they are, the world would just be a much better place.
And if you must go out home in 5 minutes in a unknown place and you can't come back, what you take with you?
Oh, um, my cat and my camera.
And now I leave you alone for 1 minute. You can tell and you can do what do you want, and I come back soon.
Okay. um, uh, Hi, everyone. I didn't expect this, but like I said, I'm not sure if you all caught my one answer to the question. I think if you just go out, spend some time in nature, enjoy it, look around, laugh, love, whether you have a camera or not, and just enjoy life. I think that's I think I try and I try and impart that into my photography. Sometimes life is stressful. It can get to you, and you can find a release like I have with photography. It's given me, it's really rooted me. Then that's something that's it's been a gift to me, my photography, and I appreciate everything that all the positivity I get back when I post my photography.
Intrusive moment. Do you have a red book near you?
A red book?
Yeah.
Um, I don't think so. Why?
It's an experiment. You have a book not read?
Yeah, like a photography book?
No, no, normal
Oh,
book.
just I have a book. Yes. Why? Do you want me to get
Yeah,
one?
take it and go on the page 18
Okay.
and read the line number 10.
Okay. I have to get a book then.
Yeah, I
Okay.
stay here.
Okay.
Thank you, Gloria. This is a crazy interview. And every people can explain what they have of good things with me.
Okay, so any book, page 18?
18, line 10.
18, line 10. Okay. Stepped up and with the spike on his staff, scratched a queer sign.
So difficult for me.
Ah, oh, you're trying to guess the book?
But no, it's good. Tomorrow morning, you get up and
Tomorrow morning. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning, but other than that, I will be going out to a local park to look for foxes and osprey. Yes.
Steve, I thank you so much. And I thank also Gloria, Arlene, Barb, Loki, Maria that they write, but also Carlos, Parson Biro, Greg Reid, Gloria Bortolin, Altemir, Rossi Carneiro, Anna Colajacovo, Angelina Galeano, Arlene Vendrasco, all the people that see us but don't write or don't push the like, but no problem, we are here. And also all the people who see us from tomorrow to all the time exist on the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Spotify only with only listen. And nothing. We stay in contact. I have a project, but I have a problem with the legs. So I want to make this project when I'm so good.
Sure.
But I don't know anything of nature. I only have crazy ideas to make with photo.
Very nice. Well, I hope you do well with your project. If you need any,
I ask help to a master of photography like you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy to help. Always, always. Yes. If you need any advice at all, I give it to you, no problem. Freely, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Lucio. It was great talking to you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye now.